aspirations of selling for close to $1 billion.
All you got to do is you got to stay hot.
Yo, yeah, boom, boom, yeah. Welcome back, Hack 45. Stay hot. For new people that are just joining for the first time, if you came across a YouTube video somehow, some way, my name's Tristan. This is
Troy.
Co-host Troy Crema, and Stay Hot is a business podcast that's documenting the entrepreneurial journey of this guy. Now, this is exciting because you just hopped off a call. We're in the boardroom currently. Someone took our dock spot, but we're at Greencube HQ. And you just hopped off a call with your business partner. Now, I got to eavesdrop a little bit. And I love, or I think it's such an interesting dynamic that your business partner is also your father.
Oh, Ken, yes.
What is that like? Because I feel like, while I'm just sitting here, I feel like from his perspective, it's got to be really cool to see your son have so much confidence, sales skills. Like, are you and your dad the same person?
No, I think we're different. I think we have the same tenacity, I would say. Like, I think there's an he's an entrepreneur through and through, 4-time entrepreneur, by the way, as a backstory for everyone. But I think there's a certain tenacity, I think, that we have. He's really good at delivering tenacity, but like not actually vocalizing it, if that makes sense. So like making you feel the energy. That meant this is like this is it. Like this is hardcore. I'm more of a vocalized person.
Guy, Ken doesn't pick up cues to call, huh?
Ken will call you.
Okay.
Oh, he'll call you. But if he has to call you, that means you haven't done that good of a job.
Okay, so before that, how is it from your perspective working with your dad and building a company with your dad?
It's been really hard, I think, at the start because it's like, how do you set aside your family dynamic and being a father and son versus being in business, right? And I think that's been something that's really hard. That's been hard to like learn over time. And we went through our roller coaster rides in doing that. But I think now we've gotten to be a pretty good dynamic where we can separate the two.
Yeah.
But there are some days, guys, where it doesn't separate. It's constantly welding conversation.
Yeah.
It's he's up visiting, he's staying at your place, or you're staying with him down when you're in Florida with him. And it's really hard not to talk about a business and be have just family conversations when it also is the business of where it is at and how fast scaling that thing really is as well.
And I would be interested on hearing his perspective on how it is for him to give you a lot of control, because on that phone call that you just had, you were kind of saying, yo, this is what I think is best for the business.
Yeah.
You felt confident in like calling the shots per se. Now remove you two out of the picture.
Yeah.
And let's look at a human being standpoint in general.
Right.
The older brother, little brother dynamic, the father-son dynamic, the man that wears the pants in a relationship dynamic.
Okay.
Do you think he had to struggle with seeing his son maybe take more control or call the shots, or does he struggle with like, no, Troy, I don't agree with that?
I think maybe at the start, like maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like progression over time, right? Like we talked about last time, like building your soil, building your farm, right? Making yourself more rich, making you more credible. And then it's also like not what he thinks. He also hears it from other prospects, other people, investors, and they say, wow, your son Troy is pretty fucking spectacular, right? So it's good to hear credibility, not just from his own thoughts and seeing it, but also from other people as well. But I have a certain way of doing things. It's not, I would say it's very to the point, and I'm always going to be honest with everyone. And he's got an interesting he used to be like that, which is hilarious. He was like that when he was younger, because you don't have time when you're young. And then when you're older, you learn to be maybe a little more cerebral on how you learn stuff and create redundancy and all this different stuff. But I think it took him a while maybe to give me that trust. Everything's in trust, and now I think he's struggling a little bit with like giving up the reins and the dynamic, but he's also reached a certain pinnacle of his career where he's like, okay, I gotta go. It's like he's going up to die. Sorry, no. It's like he's just going up.
That's right.
When I say going up, he just goes up to that chairman of the board position.
Correct.
And he's not involved in the C-suite.
Because he already made it, quote unquote.
Yeah, and he's older. He's not. Listen, this is when you're doing startups. Let's call a spade spade. It's
grueling.
It's a young person's job.
It would also, I'm sure, be a different dynamic if this was his first one.
Right.
And so then in his mind, it's like, I need to make this work.
Right.
Where now he's able to take that step back and watch you do your thing.
Yeah, and I think he always wants his input heard.
Yeah.
But he's obviously, when you're not in, again, we always talk about being attached to day-to-day and being attached to the business.
Yeah.
Speaking of being attached to business, it's also like being able to exactly exemplify what is going on, and being able to, like, when you're zooming in, zooming out per se on different things, then you're not attached to it, right? But when you're in the every single day vision of it, as I said, it just flows off.
Yeah.
You're so engaged and attached that when someone who's zooming in, zooming out asks you a question, well, this is already over here. Your question's in the past, but here's what it is now. And they zoom in, zoom out. So you gotta. It's kind of tough to keep someone who wants to be involved 24/7, or not be involved 24/7, take that chairman position, but in his mind thinks he's involved 24/7.
Okay, what is going on in your world? What's the biggest thing that you're dealing with today? From a management, operations, running a company, what's happening?
The biggest thing I'm dealing with today, I think right now, just given where the market's at, I'm not sure if anyone else is privy to it, right? Is technology companies are in the worst state ever from a market value perspective, probably in the last 20 years. It is terrible.
Maybe since like the
dot-com boom bust. Like it is that bad.
Wow.
And it's going to get worse. And because the reason why it's going to get worse is inflation's about to kick in.
Right.
And like I saw some of the housing markets dropping 20% tomorrow. Right. So it's like real estate's going to drop now too.
Right.
Multifamily's okay where we operate student housing because it's recession proof essentially. People always need to rent or have homes. So, but home prices are going through the floor. Unemployment's going to rise. Like everything now is like it is 2008, I think, all over again. So how do you defend against a crisis or defend against stuff like this?
Well, first, what effect is that having in people wanting to spend money? What effect is that having on you as a business operator and having to keep an eye on your bottom, your expenses a little more?
So that's it, right? Is you are so privy to revenue. If you don't generate revenue, if there's no ROI associated with you, if you're not positive ROI in your business, if you don't generate revenue and you don't create value, you will not have a job. Like that is the market that we're in, and that's the market where we're going. Like if you do not have a substantial ROI where you are paid this, then you bring in this, you will more than you will. Oh, and it can't just be a sliver.
No,
it's probably got to be 2 or 3x.
Sure.
You will not work here, and you will not work anywhere. Like that's how bad it is. Like it is. Well, it's not that bad, but like that's how it is for a lot of companies right now, especially companies that have cash, because they got to be able to, like we're good, we're funded, but we got to be able to weather the storm now, and increase your run rate for maybe an extra like 3 or 6 months of what it usually is.
Compared to a market that's healthy. Capital's flush, right?
You're
taking more risk on hiring in more people, even though they're not 2xing, 3xing?
Yeah, you're probably. So the thing is, it's all about the liquidity of cash. I would say liquidity of cash flow. So, it's called access to capital.
Okay.
So the access to capital usually comes from VCs, private equity funds, institutions, banks, right? Investors, right? To keep it the broad term. The access to capital now is dried up.
Okay.
Like VCs have gone hammered.
Everywhere or?
Oh
just,
yeah. Oh, it's got fucking hammered.
And why is that? Are VCs wanting to hold on to more, take less risk?
Well, because their positions have gone killed, right?
What
so if you look, the tech market's down 46% year to date.
Ew.
That's how bad it is. The Nasdaq's dropped, plummeted, right? So all these guys have positions, right? And no different than how you hold stock or valuations in public markets. Those have an adverse effect on why you hold valuations in private markets, right? And so when they do their comps and do their valuations for their portco now is not positive, and so they have institutionals and they have big banks that invest in them. They have to go to their bankers and say, as a VC, and go, yeah, we're down 46% year to date. It's not a good conversation to have. And so right now, these guys that have raised capital and have funds, and usually you raise a fund and you have $200 million or $100 million in that fund that you invest out of.
Yep.
You put money in companies like ours.
Yep.
They're holding tight right now in capital until basically this market kind of figures itself out in the next at least 6 weeks, I would say, until the end of June.
Of course.
Because right now it's just such volatility that if you went to go put money into something, like, market could shift tomorrow.
Sure.
Drops down again today. It's down again today, the NASDAQ. It's crazy. So when that happens, when there's a lot of instability in the market, capital starts to dry up and liquidity starts to dry up as well. The transfer of money dies. And I was talking to my sister about this, sorry to rant, on the weekend, but I was like, you know what could be a really good indicator for a depression is coming or a recession is happening is transfer of money. Just the total amount of the transfer money across like AHC transfers, maybe any type of transfer that happens. Quantifying the transfer of money from like bank account to bank account or just bank transfers,
Right.
you could start to realize that, well, if that number starts to decrease, liquidity starts to decrease, and ultimately the market as a whole happens to what is happening right now. And so when we have conversations like the one you just heard, especially if you're in a sales role now, which will go into kind of like our conversations around closers versus relationship builders.
Which is just another term of saying like revenue drivers and versus like a relationship builder is just like kind of making the connection.
And they're important. It's business development.
Business development.
So
also a line that stuck out to me
was
like, God damn. It's like, might have to put a bullet in him. And I'm just like, where's my bulletproof vest? I gotta go get one. So how like,
and then we can come on and have conversations like this.
How's your relationship with not mixing what's best for the business and like hurting someone's feelings or like or hurting their lifestyle in a sense, like, because if let's say someone at Scotiabank gets fired. Well, now that employee is no longer getting money, and then now they have to make new decisions and figure shit out versus like, oh, I have a secure job. Does that eat you alive at all? Or is it like, nope, sorry, it's business?
Well, I think like anyone, like even with people that are in our company here at Greencube, like out of the faces that have been here for a long time, like, they create value, right? And they have great work ethics and their value and their awesome attitudes and they're just great, smart, brilliant people, right? Like they deserve the roles they're in. I think we just promoted Joseph and Emily yesterday.
Nice.
They got promoted, right?
Wow,
so
congratulations.
hey, they can hear us probably.
Congratulations.
But, like those people and like people that are still around the hoop and with you for a long time and with you until the next tier of your businesses.
Sure.
They're your leaders, right?
That's right.
And they earn that spot but there is an ROI associated with
Correct.
that. It's funny, man. I haven't really, which is, I don't know, maybe it's just my bad luck. Maybe it's my bad luck. Maybe it's just me. I haven't really found a good salesperson as a colleague, ever.
The faces that have stuck around the hoop since I've known you
Are not in sales.
are not in sales.
Yeah.
A lot of the salespeople have kind of turned
They're gone.
over, and guess who isn't gone? You.
Yeah, because I'm the sales.
Because you're closing.
Yeah, it's just.
Does that frustrate you that you have no like real support?
I don't know. Well, I don't know, right? Like now, I'm like concerned. Is it a me problem? Right? Am I not teaching the realm of? Am I not teaching these guys enough? But then I go, well, no. Like we've given you all the opportunity. If you can't pick it up that fast, then maybe you're just not a good salesperson. And then I look at it, and I look at some of the people we've hired, and I go look at like other people I have calls with, and they try to pitch me, and I go, well, that person was really good. Like I can actually pick out one person, a guy named Tom Wallace. Shout out Tom Wallace from I forget the name of the company right now, but the RevOps company out of the UK. Like, I was like, yo, that was a sales process that was very good. They do a very good job systematically. They do a very good job adding information. They do a very good job of solving my problem and relating everything to me. And they take a lot of time to invest in me on that process.
This was a sales call
for me.
They were trying to
Cluster.
sell you.
Cluster's the company.
Okay, Cluster was trying to
Cluster
sell you.
was selling me on their RevOps platform. One of their guys reached out, an SDR, hammered me. Kept going back for, hey Troy, I love the book call. Third one, I went, okay, sure, let's jump on. Oh yeah, you know what, this is actually really cool. Hey, I love the book time with our AE. Cool, booked it with the AE. Tom jumped on, he did a really good job walking through the full product. And I was like, okay, that process was like a high tier process. Like they did a very good job. But then I go look at some of these other companies and go hear some of these other AEs and salespeople and I go, fuck, they're not that good.
Yeah, because if you're on sales calls all the time, it's almost like research on what a good sales process is. And do you take bits and pieces and try to implement them in your own
Yeah,
company?
like I really liked how they did it, right? Like they just did a good job. The SDR really groomed it for Tom, and once I had the initial conversation with Tom, I then passed to Aiken because Aiken was the decision maker for this case, and they made Aiken feel like so comfortable throughout the process, and I was like, wow, yeah, this is just like, this was good. This was like how a really well-run sales org did it. And I look back at their like CRO, who's also their founder. Again, their founder is also like the driving all the revenue in the business or creating the structure. And he was part of a big CRM back in the day or something like that. So younger guy though, but he had a lot of domain experience on the BDR, SDR, hierarchy, how to close it. But it's funny, right? Like going back to our conversations, that BDR, SDR role are supposed to be relationship builders, and you're supposed to elevate and grow into a closer role. And I think there's a big avenue here where, you know what, a lot of people like that are SDRs that want to make that organic transition to an AE role, not at a brand name company that we were talking about before. It's pretty easy to go SDR to AE at a brand because you need Salesforce, CRM. I need it. I'm a business. Cool, I'll buy you CRM. But to sell a product where you go SDR, BDR, SDR progression to AE, you know what? It's not a necessity. It's a nice to have.
That's right.
How do you make it sound and sell it to be a necessity, even though it's only a nice to have product?
Which comes back to my conflict. That was nice.
Yeah.
Which comes back to my thesis of like, if you're just out here cold calling, you don't know whether or not that company wants to spend money,
Right.
or whether or not they're in a position to spend money, or whether or not they even need your product.
It's also like, I think you can pitch it to the point where someone says, if you get someone that's honest enough to say, dude, we just don't have the budget for it right now, you've done your job.
Really?
That's
a win?
100% done. If you've groomed them to the point where, I really like this, I want this, I just really don't have the budget for this right now, follow up with me after we're done funding, you've sold the product to be good.
Okay.
Like, unless it's like a necessity product, like oxygen.
Like they can't operate their business
Without it, then you've done your job, I think, as a salesperson. But I'm very rare. I haven't seen a lot of people be able to do that job. But the BDR, SDRs are supposed to be those relationship builders. First point, shake hands, then groom. AE comes in. By the time that AE comes in, it's usually a demo / close, and he's usually got to close it up and do the whole sales process.
Do you want a cold call for the people?
Oh yeah, okay. I get my phone and threw it across.
So Troy had this great idea. He said, okay, Alex the intern gave him a business card, and he said, Tristan, let's cold call this guy.
Where is it?
And this is exciting because I want to we're gonna see if you can sell.
Okay, great.
Or just to see if it confirms my thesis, or I'm interested on seeing what he says.
So this guy's name's Paneet Thadani. He's at Pop Communications, a digital ad agency. Looks like they work with some cool brands like Marriott and a couple other ones. I'm gonna name drop that on this call, so we're gonna see exactly the gravitational pull here. He's supposed to have met Alex at an event yesterday, but let's go and see. Who knows? Hopefully he picks up the phone. If he doesn't pick up, we'll call him back another time. 846-6601, and let's put him on speaker.
I'm excited for this. Come on.
Hello.
Hi, Paneet. It's Troy Crema calling from Greencube. How are you?
Who's that? Sorry.
Troy Crema calling from Greencube. You met my friend, my intern actually, Alex, last night at an event, and he said for me to follow up with you. I'm the CEO here at Greencube. I was looking at Pop Communications.
Oh, yeah. Hi, how are you?
Good. How's your week going? How's your Thursday?
It's pretty busy, actually.
Pretty busy. I was looking at your website actually. I saw that you guys work with Marriott on a lot of brands. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
That's awesome. And you know what, man? It's funny. Yeah, I'm not sure if these markets right now are pretty crazy, huh? So we're just dealing with a lot of clients that are coming back to us, looking at some different type of projects, but everyone's looking basically to drive new business for their company. And so what we're doing right now is, I just love to I know what Alex was saying, he gets really excited in a lot of these situations, but I love to kind of just learn a little bit more about Pop Communications. I saw you guys do a lot of really cool digital ad and branding and SEO optimization, but we'd love to maybe hear and book a call maybe maybe later this week or even early next week, since it's already Thursday, just to meet you and hear a little bit more about your story and talk to about Pop Communications and maybe how we can work together.
Okay, sure. So let's fix up something for next week.
Cool. Does Monday work for you? Tuesday be better? Okay, and 1 second. I'm just going to check my calendar here. 1 second. How is Tuesday morning for you? I'm free 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
Tuesday should be okay.
Awesome. And Tuesday morning, is 10 o'clock work or 11 a.m. better for you, Paneet?
11 o'clock is fine. 11 o'clock.
Perfect. And your email is just Paneet at popcommunications.ca?
Yeah, it's pop-communications.
Perfect. I got it right now. So I'll send you a note here, Paneet. And listen, really appreciate the call. I know it's always tough getting cold calls from random San Diego numbers, but hope you have an amazing
No problem.
hope you have an amazing weekend, and really looking forward to talking to you and learning more about Pop.
Cheers.
Awesome. Cheers, brother. Bye. All right. Well, cool. That's how it's done.
Wow. Okay. So
that was terrible too. I felt awful.
you did you feel on the spot?
No, I just ate lunch, so I felt kind of bloated.
I thought you did really well.
Thanks, man. So you know what? It's funny. So Tuesday, 10 a.m. Let's go book this so we make sure I have it.
11.
Is it 11?
I don't know.
It's 11. You're right. Well, book
Okay.
off, baby.
So okay. We need
I
to
want to
debrief.
debrief. That was pretty cool. That worked really well. That was only 2 minutes. So
It worked perfectly. And
see how quick that was?
quickly, I want to go through what was going through your head, like the steps that you were,
So
like the structure, or like the introduction, my name is, and
Yeah.
then like what's going through your mind of like the cold call process.
Right. So when you complete the cold call first thing, and you get the premise of a cold call is that you're never going to sell on a cold call, guys. It's never going to close a deal.
Okay.
Right. But your goal is to always get to.
Maybe that's why I have a negative thesis around cold calling, because in my mind, I guess I thought that a cold call meant that you're trying to sell on that call.
Never. Not anymore. Never trying to close it. Your goal is to always get to what I got to, and that was a demo. That's the goal of every cold call. You're just trying to get to the demo.
So you just wanting to book a meeting
That's it.
where you have more time, you can use the functionality.
I can
Zoom,
demo my
and you
product.
can demo the
I
product.
can talk to him more about his business, really learn the ins and outs.
What they're looking
what are they
for.
looking for? Who are the people that they care towards better? And wait until and then I go. But the goal of every single cold call, guys, is just to get to the next call. That's the goal of every cold call, just to get to the next call, especially in computer software. This isn't the 90s when people don't have internet and the Wolf of Wall Street. You're just trying to get to that next call through your sales cycle. And yeah, calling has worked really well this week. Fuck, we booked like 5 demos through these types of situations.
Okay, and going
That's
back to pipeline conversation
Okay.
of Tristan learning what pipeline is.
Okay.
Booking 5 meetings this week is like potential cash
50,
flow
50K.
is on your calendar now.
Yep, 50K. Yeah, so right now, like, we've originated, like, Alex going to these events and meeting great people like Paneet. Shout out to Paneet. Thank you so much.
you.
That was amazing. you start to build your pipeline. And so that was a really cool kind of situation. But as you guys kind of saw throughout that process, like you introduce yourself, you're CEO of Greencube. He basically went like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
right?
he was very short and sweet.
Standoffish, which he was probably trying to get off the call in the first 5-10 seconds, right? Because then I broke the ice. I heard you were at an event last night. My intern Alex was speaking to you. I'm just following up on all these conversations. Oh, right. That crazy fucking kid that was like running around last night, right? So off of that, he goes, okay, not credible. I know these guys.
Right.
Not credible. I know these guys. And then I was like, he's like, how you doing? I'm like, oh, the markets right now, we're just trying to, drive some more business for our clients currently right now through our platform. We're looking to fill our pipeline. And again, we just love to hear more about Pop Communications. Saw you guys work with Marriott. Did a little bit of background research, right? Guys got to learn, not like went into the ins and outs of their business, but we'll love to learn about how we can drive more business for you guys through our platform. And we'll love to maybe schedule a call next week to learn more about everything. And sure enough, let's do next week. And then I went in throughout. I didn't leave it to chance, right, on the call. So another big thing, what I did at the end of the call to lead to it, is you're trying to get to the next call, but if you would have said, follow up with me on email, doesn't work. It would have died, right?
Because he would have forgot about it, and
or that's like the classic cop-out move, right?
Yes.
I'll follow up with you next week to schedule
and then
time.
He doesn't have to hear your voice.
It's like, oh, hey, do you want, like when you ask a girl, hey, you want to get it? No, I'm busy this weekend. Dead. It's like,
it's dead.
No, I'm busy this week, but how is next Wednesday night? When they set that date, they're like, oh, we're interested. So when I went like, cool, great. How next week, does Monday work or Tuesday work for you? Tuesday, okay, great. How's Tuesday morning? Tuesday morning works. Okay, no, not just morning. How's Tuesday at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.? 11 a.m. works.
And he said Tuesday, that should work. And then you went back and you were saying 10 or 11. Like you made him confirm.
I got my date, got my calendar booked. Right? So your goal of every single cold call, guys, or kind of call before you've even had any introduction, right? Cold outreach, per se, is to get to the demo or get to the discussion, right? And that discussion is, again, 30 to 45 minutes. You're usually having that kind of initial intro / demo / discussion. But your goal of every cold call on the phone, at least, is to get to the demo call, which will be a video call or an in-person meeting.
So also, to keep it in the theme of this episode, Act 45.
Right.
That was a pure demonstration of what a relationship builder is.
100%. That's a relationship builder, which is a very important role.
Sure.
You build the pipeline, right?
That's right.
So, revenue is equal to two different things, right? Pipeline times win rate. Pipeline times win rate. Your pipeline is everything we've gone over with the calendar, right? My 5 calls might equate to $50,000 in potential deals on my calendar any given day. My win rate is how many deals am I closing? How many am I going to win?
Out of those,
Goal scores.
Which is like 33%?
Yeah, like 30% is average when it's warmed up and super qualified.
Okay.
I try to get over 50. You want to bat over 5. It's like, that's what I said, it's like baseball.
Yeah, you love those analogies where you're like, hey, it's like closing week or it's Friday homers.
Yeah. So like that's it, right? Is like what you just saw, the cold call, the initial call, is a relationship building process. Alex went last night, met the guy at like a brief event. The guy probably said, okay, kid, go fuck off and die. Here's my card. Not a lot of people though, guys, with relationship builders would have followed up the next day and called the guy, right? So here we are, we call him. Now we got a demo book for next Tuesday, and we'll track on the next episode whether we can close this guy by the end of May. So let's see how she goes. So we'll figure it all out. Looks like they've done some good work. They have some great brands, and maybe they really see the value in our platform.
So why do you think that relationship builders? Because you said on the call with Ken, you don't need more than one relationship builder in a company.
Yeah.
Is that true?
No, you do. You do need more than one, but you don't need it right now for the same sales cycle.
And
right?
for the company, whatever.
Listen, it was a little bit. Ken gets emotional on some stuff sometimes. I get emotional on stuff as a founder. You do, but it's you gotta, again, everything does relate to the top line in my world, right? It's your pipeline times your win rate. Well, you have a great pipeline, but you have a shit win rate, then you have a closer problem. But if you have a no pipeline, you have like a great win rate, then you have a relationship builder problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you need relationship builders and closers. But I often think it's a lot easier. It's a lot rarer to have a closer that does the relationship building as well. Which is essentially, guys, you know what that is? It's called an entrepreneur. If you're a relationship builder and a closer is the one to lead the top line revenue, that's what an entrepreneur essentially is for their business. But it's really hard to find closers. There's not a lot of closers out there in the world. And it's really tough. The reason why is because anyone can call Paneet the next day and get that first call book. Like, that wasn't that hard. You might have stumbled on the first one. Maybe you do 5 more and you get 3 book calls and 2 more fuck offs and dies. But it's really hard now. Let's take Paneet, to take him from a conversation to a demo to here's the contract, here's the line, now go transfer that money. It's a different world.
If anyone has questions for Troy, and I need to be better at this on like, we want to, as you're listening to this, and I know, here's an example, Alex the intern is going to watch this. Alex, I'm talking to you right now. I know you're just in the other room.
It's probably smart.
What questions do you have in order to become, from what Troy is saying, right now you're a relationship builder and this happens, but I'm assuming Troy eventually wants you to be able to do what he just did.
Wow.
And close.
Wow.
So what information do you need from him in order to get to that position? And anyone else, there's maybe a 1,000.
And shout out to Alex. He's probably one of the best relationship builders already.
Nice.
Like, not just for his age, I would say. Like, he's a better BDR or SDR than a lot of these guys that work here downtown.
He also has done that to me. Like, he's persistent.
Got no
and
shame.
He's like, that's what it is.
It's no fear.
It's no fear.
I don't care.
You
say no to me at the bar, well, looks pretty amazing too. I'm gonna go talk to
Sure.
her. She was beautiful.
And
Right?
I don't think he has a fear of like being judged. Like he doesn't care whether or not someone thinks he's gonna be like that annoying kid. Like, he's gonna eat that, he's gonna take that punch and move on.
Give me all the
Right.
punches, man. Like, that's what you need in sales, right? And especially, you gotta put yourself out there, man. The guy's posting right now every single day his selfies. Oh, go check him out.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest view. The guy's like taking pictures down here. His full nostrils are in it. Like, I'm pretty sure the guy's got boogers hanging out.
Oh,
But
man.
he's getting people that are responding,
hustling.
and he's being consistent. He's hustling, and you know what? People do respect that. If you stay with it, you don't let other people sway your vision or say, hey, you're an idiot for posting that, but you come back the next day and post a bigger photo.
Right.
People respect that.
I couldn't agree more.
People respect that you're on Act 45, and or you guys have stuck with it, even though it wasn't some like fling for 10 episodes or 2 weeks.
Correct.
We stuck with it.
Yeah.
We've had to go through obstacles as well.
1,000%. That's the beauty of consistency, because there's a graphic of the miner, right? The 2 different miners.
Right.
Next to the pot of gold, and one miner is the one more hit, but he said fuck that, like I'm off it, and the other guy is still hustling, and that's what you got to do. If you set out to do something, you gotta at least give it a lifespan in order to develop and grow. It's like planting a seed, and oh shit, I've watered the seed for 2 weeks now and it still hasn't grown. Too many people will give up and not let that seed take the time it actually needs in order to grow into something
To
that's
hit the
fruitful.
surface where it's actually recognized. So a lot of times you never know when you plant that seed. You can't tell when that seed's that plant's almost at the surface.
Correct.
And then you can harvest it.
And the same thing goes for cold calling. Oh, Paneet might have not answered right there, and
Yeah.
some people would be like, "Oh, cold calling's a waste of my time."
They would have ripped the card up, thrown
That's
it
right.
away, right?
That's right.
I would have called that guy in the neck.
You just planted a seed.
Plant it. Let's go try to mine. Let's go harvest Paneet next week. Paneet.
Let's go, Paneet. We're coming for you,
Right.
Troy. Any closing thoughts here that you want to get out? I think that was incredible. Like, that couldn't have worked any better.
That was pretty sweet.
That was insane. That's like, we gotta. Yeah, I want to do that.
You got some good editing.
That's
to do
great.
there, buddy.
That's great.
I think all the steps there were really good, and I think it's funny. Last kind of touching point. I was watching this thing from going back to your coal mining example. Chris Bosch was talking about Kobe during his thing, and he said the winners or successful people are not judged by their successes, but they're judged by how well they bounce back from their failures. And so we'll leave it at that.
That's a bar. At 45, we out. Peace.